Welcome to the Lauren Blackwell channel. It appears that the number of people accusing Smokey Robinson of SA might be growing. So a few months ago, it was four of his former employees that accused him of SA while they were under his employment. They said that he SA'd them and harassed them while they were at his place, and conveniently, he did these actions while they were in a place with no cameras. Well, it appears that things are headed in a more complicated direction because a fifth person has filed a lawsuit against Smokey Robinson regarding SA as well. There's nothing surprising about this. This is usually how it goes when one person has the courage to step out and file a lawsuit. Other people that believe that they have experienced the same thing will come out as well, and the list grows, which is why these kinds of accusations are so dangerous and can be so debilitating to a person's work, career, assets, and reputation. Initially, the lawsuit that was filed was a civil lawsuit for $50 million. The accusers were seeking $50 million in damages, and they filed that lawsuit as a group. So these are not individual lawsuits of $50 million. It was a group of four. They filed a lawsuit seeking $50 million in damages. Well, now there has been a criminal lawsuit that has been filed, which means that the Sheriff's Department at Los Angeles will have to perform a criminal investigation into all of these allegations. At the age of 84, this is the last thing that Smokey and his wife Frances need in their life. This is so problematic. If I had this sort of allegations against me, I don't even know what I would do. And to be this big and to have been this long in the industry, he's been in the industry for decades upon decades upon decades. He has seen so many eras come and go, and towards the end of his career or his life, this is what he has to deal with, has got to be driving him crazy. Well, Smokey Robinson is not taking this lying down. He and his wife have filed a countersuit against the four former employees for $500 million. Smokey and his team are accusing the four accusers of financial elder abuse, invasion of privacy, defamation of character, amongst other things. Remember, the four former employees' lawsuit was for $50 million. Smokey's lawsuit is for $500 million. So now both sides have a lot to worry about. And I don't know if the fifth accuser that has recently filed a lawsuit, I have joined in to the lawsuit with the other four. I don't know if that one will be added to this $500 million lawsuit. It is possible that the $500 million lawsuit that was filed by Smokey Robinson will be amended to include this fifth accuser. The attorney representing Smokey Robinson and Frances Robinson, Smokey Robinson's wife, gave a statement through TMZ, and he said, "It's not surprising to us that in the context of very public allegations by the four interconnected Jane Does and their shared attorneys, no matter how untrue, news like this might emerge. It's one of the risks of being a celebrity, that others will take the same approach. Our focus is on exposing the falsity of the Doe lawsuit, where the Does and their lawyers have taken a hit-and-run approach, making allegations against a beloved 85-year-old cultural icon and subsequently refusing to reveal their identities or unequivocally sit for a deposition where the truth can actually be determined." So the attorney addressed a few things ever since this started, and the fact that the accusers are able to stay anonymous seems to be a problem for them. It's something that they do not like. Smokey's team do not like that. And in a way, I can understand why. Because if someone is accused, that does not automatically mean that they are guilty, correct? Okay, so if someone is still innocent of something and the accusation can ruin their reputation, I think that it is unfair for the accuser to be able to be anonymous. Now, it has not been determined that Smokey is innocent, and although we are supposed to consider people innocent until proven guilty, typically when an accusation such as this is made, it will tarnish the accused person's reputation, whether they are innocent or not. So his name is all out there and being associated with SA, but the accusers, whom we're not even sure that they're telling the truth yet because the case has just started, they get to be anonymous and not be personally affected by this. If I were innocent of something and someone is accusing me and they get to be anonymous, I'm sure I will be extremely upset about that. But if they really did do it and the accusers are true victims of this person, then I absolutely think that they should be able to remain anonymous, because for a lot of them, coming out is even trauma, and having to relive the experience is trauma. So it's like, not only did they experience the negative stuff that happened to them, but they have to have their identities linked with that. That is trauma on top of trauma, and that would not be fair. I don't know how this sort of a thing should be handled, but it's very tricky when one party can stay anonymous and the other cannot. Perhaps maybe when they file, until the person is determined to be guilty, both parties should be anonymous. I don't know how they're going to do that, because court documents get leaked all the time, and you have to use a person's real name when you file legal documents against them. The attorney, Christopher Frost, has also filed a motion to dismiss the initial lawsuit, the $50 million lawsuit filed by the 4 first accusers, on the basis that they use pseudonyms while filing the lawsuit. They did not use their real names, and they're hiding their identities. And they are refusing to sit for deposition, where, questions will be asked of them and some truths can be determined. I don't know if lawsuits can be dismissed based on a plaintiff who is claiming to be a victim is trying to stay anonymous. I don't know if lawsuits can be dismissed based on that. Refusing to sit for deposition, that I'm not sure. But there's been lots of instances that we've seen, even recently, where an accuser is able to file a lawsuit and have it proceed even though they remained anonymous. So I don't know if their lawsuit can be dismissed based on that alone. However, that is not the only reason why the motion to dismiss was filed. So we'll see how this works out for both parties, especially with this $500 million lawsuit hanging above the accusers. Honestly, here's what I think. I think that if someone files a lawsuit against these celebrities and the celebrities settle immediately and they are not guilty, then we will continue to see these types of lawsuits pop up. Now, if the celebrities settle knowing that they are guilty, then obviously that is the right thing to do, because the people that they victimized have the right to be compensated in some way for what they have been through, because it causes trauma that leads to loss in other areas. They may have had to go to therapy, they may have missed work, or it probably altered their life in some way. So I do not think that filing a civil lawsuit over certain negative experiences is a bad thing. A lot of people do not think that, though. They think that when something happens to you, then a criminal investigation should be conducted, which means a criminal lawsuit should be filed. Otherwise, you look shady as the victim. You come across as just wanting to take money from an innocent person. But that is not necessarily the case. People do need compensation for what they've been through. With that being said, if the accuser strongly believes in their own innocence and they decide to countersue, I absolutely think that it will deter more people from joining the lawsuit to take money away from the accused person. And I'm referring to people that specifically were not victimized. I'm not talking about true victims here. So with this $500 million lawsuit or countersuits by the accused person, I think that it will deter more people from joining the initial lawsuit and creating this whole chain of supposed victims that are just out to get money. We don't know though if Smokey is innocent or not, and we don't know if the accusers are telling the truth or not. We don't know yet. So I don't want to make any claims or like take a stance, but I do think it should be fair on both sides, and both sides should do everything possible to bring as much detail and proof that they have, text messages, pictures, anything that they have to prove their innocence. The 4 initial accusers did say that a lot of the acts occurred where there are no cameras, so it is going to be difficult to prove via surveillance what was happening while they were under Smokey Robinson's employment. That makes things more complicated, but not impossible. There can still be some other details that can come up, perhaps a confrontation by some of the accusers, or even some of the accusers may have mentioned it to their other friends and family via, electronic communication. Those can be pooled. I mean, there's gotta be something. It's 2025, and with technology, there's gotta be something that had been mentioned previously at some point, that should be easy to extract. So yeah, I wish them all the best. I hope whoever is in the right comes up on top. There's been a lot of lawsuits lately, and not all of them have been innocent. There's also been some concerted efforts on the part of some accused people to grab money from celebrities that have, money to give. But yeah, I wish them both the best. It's really sad that at the age that he is in, he's having to deal with this. His wife is having to deal with this. This cannot be easy. Being a celebrity is not for the weak. It is not for the faint of heart, because you are going to deal with some serious stuff. But I would imagine that Smokey Robinson did not get to where he is and to be still up around relevant, successful performing at the age of 84 by laying down and letting people walk all over him. So I have a feeling this is going to be quite the fight. The $500 million lawsuit is making it look like some of the lawsuits might be dropped. That tends to happen when there's a countersuit and people cannot prove what they are saying, whether or not that means they are guilty and the accused person is innocent. Not necessarily, but when there's a countersuit, it tends to lead to lawsuits to be dropped. But yeah, that's all I have on this. We'll see how this progresses, and I will keep you guys updated. Thank you guys for watching. See you in my next one. Bye guys.